Betty Ford was not only a woman of substance. Like many First Ladies, the media and public always kept a close eye on her style.
Whether attending a fundraiser or a state dinner, she was always the picture of elegance. Her clothes reflected in an era which, in some cases, you know, was a historic moment in time or something important that was happening.
Absolutely. And many of the outfits were so important, they're archived at the Ford Presidential Museum.
We're in a room that most people will never get to see at the Gerald R. Ford Museum. It's called Collection Storage, and we were talking about the life and legacy of Betty Ford and her influence on fashion. There are several hundred of the outfits and gowns that she wore as First Lady that are kept here at the museum, and we are talking with Jamie Draper, who is actually the registrar here at the Ford Museum. You've picked some of the outfits that have been stored here for years that really exemplified some of Mrs. Ford's fashion. Can you tell us about them?
Well, Mrs. Ford has been very generous in donating her dresses and gowns to the museum over the years. And one of the pieces I've selected for us today is this Frankie Welch gown. This was her official portrait gown, so she wore this for her official portrait at the White House.
That's beautiful. This purple one also.
This is a prime example of one of her quilted traveling dresses. When you see White House photos from the period, you'll see that she wore those dresses frequently on foreign trips.
Of course, the fashion of any First Lady is very influential. This certainly exuded the fashion of a certain time and era. There's a beautiful gown over here that you also selected for us to see. Kind of exemplifies what Mrs. Ford was all about.
Yes, this she had, I believe, Frankie Welch make this from silk that they brought back from a trip to China, and then she wore this for a subsequent congressional ball.
Wow, that's beautiful. Before Mrs. Ford married President Ford, she actually spent time in New York City as a model, then came to the White House, and of course, you know, you've really accumulated a lot of things, not just clothes. We saw shoes here as well, jewelry.
We have a lot of her accessories, shoes, jewelry, hats, just a wide variety. Like I said, she's been very generous to us over the years, donating her materials, and we've been very thankful for that.
Right. Now, obviously, these are very valuable, and they are decades old, so it's very important that you actually preserve them in a certain manner. Of course, this is collection storage. How do you preserve these outfits so they stay so nice?
Well, we have these cabinets. The cabinets are waterproof, virtually airtight. And as you can see, all the individual gowns and dresses receive their own treatment with Tyvek slip covers and tags showing the information about the piece. So
it has a good history of basically where she wore each piece, what event she attended, all part of history.
We try to preserve all the information along with the dress itself. So we have something to work with down the road, and future generations can enjoy these pieces.
All right, thank you so much. You can check out some of Mrs. Ford's influence on fashion by seeing the permanent exhibit here at the Gerald R. Ford Museum. You know, Eva, getting to see the Ford Museum's archive was such an amazing experience. Each of those outfits has a story, and they have pictures of when she wore them and who she was talking to and why it was significant. As we often see, you know, Kate Middleton just came to the U.S. and she was marrying American designers, and when she was in Canada, she was wearing Canadian designers. It's all very political and very important that even fashion can have that role in history.
What a great closet. Wouldn't it be nice to have all your stuff stored like that? I mean, preserved. It's just amazing. I didn't realize there was so much volume to all of that we don't even get to see.
Several hundred pieces, you know, and recently, you know, it closed at the beginning of this year. Betty Ford, An Extraordinary Life was on display, and they were able to pull a lot of those outfits out of the archive and put them on display for people to see. But there are several hundred different pieces. You don't see it all. You just see some of them that are in the permanent exhibit, and they say that they switch them out a little bit, but some of the ones that they have on display are very significant, so they want to keep those out there for people to see, because those are the ones that are particularly important.
I bet. Here's something about Ford's early life. Before becoming Mrs. Jerry Ford, Betty was a model and dancer and studied with modern dance legend Martha Graham in New York. At his wife's urging, Gerald Ford presented Graham with the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 1976.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.